So welcome to my speedrun of Ahead in Time, any percent. We're doing this on patch 2.1, also known as Nyokuza Metro patch, I think, or Boop patch. Pretty much gave myself 24 hours to learn how to run this game. This is the result, the best run I've gotten by far. Well, technically not. I had 2 runs that were actually on a better pace than this, but due to real life interference, I just wasn't able to finish them. But good, yeah. So I'm doing this mainly so I know where my mistakes lay for if I ever were to run this game again, because it's honestly a really good game. I might actually return to it someday. Alright, so we start the run off. Pretty simple. You need to have the timer on top. It's just one of the things that you need to do if you want to actually submit your run to the speedrun.com leaderboards. So usually I get 15-16 seconds here, but my runs honestly weren't that great lately, so I took the 16:47. So starting off, usually people jump, do a blind jump here and just gonna get up there. I can't do that consistently. I just immediately turn the camera, and that way you can skip the entire cutscene. Got a bit stuck there. It doesn't really matter, honestly. Maybe takes me half a second. Honestly, with my time, losing half a second here, losing an extra second there doesn't change that much. So we need 5 bombs for the simple reason that we needed to unlock the second chapter. Oh well, second act. The cutscene plays, we get our heads, all pretty standard. I got a 3088 for chapter 1, act 1. Honestly, for my doing, that's really nice. But if you compare this to the world record is already like 10 seconds ahead. It's honestly like Doka, Suar, all those people from the Boop Troop, the Discord, they're insane. Like, okay, I get it. I only played this for 24 hours, but Jesus, the things they do, I wouldn't even dare to attempt. So we have 1 timepiece out of 25. We open. She came out from outer space. Now, usually in the run we'll be doing. By the way, we're not doing Ice Head early because it's too difficult for me. It's too difficult to learn in 24 hours. Pretty much we go up pretty standard, and in this run I will be getting 25 yarns, and I'll be getting 5 of them alone in this chapter. Usually you'd get about 4, but I actually had to reroute quite a few things because I can't do cheating the race. Cheating the race is too difficult for me, and I just didn't have the time to practice it and make it consistent. So we get this yarn here. I don't think you would normally get that. And the rest is pretty standard movement overall. I'm actually really happy with the first chapter of the run. So we get the yarn, pretty standard. We dive onto the tree. We managed to get the yarn and not hit the wall, so that's pretty nice. Saves about 1 or 2 seconds. So we match through the text, we get our brewer heads while the cutscene plays. We're not equipping it because we honestly don't want it. I'm not taking the pons either because honestly in this run it's very rare that you won't have enough pons. And honestly you want the pons for cheating the race, but I'm not doing cheating the race, so pons really are not an issue. On a side note, this is an auto-scroller pretty much, because we're always ahead of the guy. We pretty much skipped that entire part, and now we align ourselves, because if you jump with the right timing, you can actually get inside him, and then you essentially save time, because all you have to do is do 1 small jump. I don't know how much it saves. It's a very small, easy optimization. The one thing that does kind of piss me off about this run is just the massive amounts of loading screens that you go through. Obviously every time you go in an act, every time you go outside of an act. So you'll be seeing like 50 loading screens. So I changed to my mouse just so I can get into barrel battle easier. and just quicker. Barrel Battle honestly is a completely free chapter. There's not much to it, just... So yeah, I'm actually really slow at this part, but when I was practicing I actually never got the yarn. It's only when I started rerouting it that I actually needed it. So usually I just wouldn't get it. You can use a dive jump here. And we use the brewer heads to speed up kills, because you can essentially hit them before they even touch the ground. Now the next bunch of bad guys actually become red, so you can't hit them with your parasol again. So that's why we use the brewer heads, because else we have to jump and dive. So we're right on pace here, 38, 39, when those guys die. I just get to the ponds here. I don't really need them, but you know. Otherwise you just stand on this. Otherwise you just stand on this spot and literally nothing can hit you. Absolutely nothing can hit you here. Sorry about the coughing, by the way. I'm a little bit sick. But I really just wanted to get this video out so I can submit it to the leaderboard and so I can finally start uploading again. So yeah, we just wait for him to finally stop throwing barrels. Honestly, it's like 40 seconds or something until you can start killing him. So he comes down, and it's way tougher than the other Mafia guys, but we just do the same. We just throw a bottle every time he's red. This is really sloppy. Usually you can at the very least get on the top platform before the times P spawns, but doesn't really make that much of a difference. So yeah, we're already 3 out of 25 timepieces, nearly 20% of the way done. You can actually exit, return to hub. From there you don't need to watch the cutscene. It's actually really annoying because Ahead in Time has this mode called skippable cutscenes or something like that, which automatically skips most of the cutscenes. But for some reason those cutscenes that are completely trivial just don't. They just don't get skipped. So we're having a really nice pace so far. Well, for my doing at least. But as you can see from the time, obviously we don't stay on a nice pace. Eventually it just all goes down the gutter, but it's 24 hours, so we don't really have the time to do 20 runs and just take the best one. Pretty much how I handled it was just learn the route, make sure you memorize the routes, practice a few of the skips, especially the early ones. So yeah, you just learn the skips early on, and that will make sure that you actually get the time. So we jump on the chair, we jump on the lamp, and we get the bucket early. Otherwise you have to go all the way around. You can actually jump on that Mafia's head and just completely skip another jump, but I don't get that very often. I jump over the guy just so that we get the pawns. Again, we don't really need them, but honestly, when you start running this game, it doesn't matter whether you get extra pawns or not. Like it just can't hurt that much. Your runs are never going to be decided on 1 or 2 seconds after all. So we switch to a brewer head. We get an extra yarn that's hidden in the barrel. You can actually skip this fight that we're about to do. I honestly don't do it because I'm just not consistent enough at it. If you fail at it, it's a pretty big time loss. And all you really have to do is just throw your bottle at them, hit them twice, go to the next guy, repeat. Boss battle, honestly not that difficult overall. Most of the boss battle honestly is just standing still and pressing jump with the right timing. There's probably a few optimizations I could actually do. There's even a quick kill here that you can do with the ice hat. But as I said, I'm not doing ice hat early, so this is just the first stage, so it's still easy right now. If you've already hit him twice, he will always do 5. By the way, he'll always give 5 little shockwaves. So it's time for stage 2. And he's giving us a really nice pattern. Usually The only attack you really don't want is when he does this and he just goes to sit in the crowds. Losing a bit of health, but again, it doesn't really matter. I wasn't paying too much attention during this fight. Otherwise, I just wouldn't get hit by them, but it's pretty much impossible to die, really, if you're in this game. Like, so we enter stage 2, I think that's after 6 hits, meaning that now the Mafia Ball attack comes. There's this little tiny gap, we jump into it, then we jump onto him. It's pretty standard stuff. I'm actually not for sure how many hits he takes to kill, I think it's 9. So I'm pretty sure it's like 3 every phase. So the fight's ending really soon. It's going to take 1 or 2 more hits. And we're at an 8:30 right now. 8 minutes 30 for my, well, from my personal experience, honestly, not too bad. Like 8:30 honestly isn't that bad. Especially when starting out. Pretty much, as you can see in the top right corner, we did this entire act in 3 minutes 41. Anything under 4 minutes is what I consider a decent act. Maybe I'm not being harsh enough on myself, but honestly, this game is really difficult to learn. This game it has so many small little optimizations that just save you a second here, save you a second there. Like, getting 3 minutes 40 on that, I'm not too angry about it. So, usually I just jump on the railing and then do another jump and you get there. I missed it sadly, so we lose a few seconds. Doesn't matter too much in the long run, but... yeah, I'm really happy about the start of this run. Like, entering this at 9 minutes 30 is probably the fastest I've ever entered it. I'm not even kidding, I just had really insane Act 1 luck, in my opinion. So here I pretty much hug the wall, because for some reason, if I don't, I just can't do this little jump. I don't know what's stopping me from it. Here you just do a normal double jump off the cart, because else you don't keep your speed. This is one of those setups that I learned myself. You can simply jump on it, then jump on the roof. You can also directly jump on the roof, but the problem is if you miss it, you're just going to waste way more time. So when starting out, you can use that little sign. You can actually just sprint jump through him, and it'll work. It's 100% consistent. One thing I can say is that Deadbird Studios is probably where most people will start resetting because of this next part coming up. So pretty much we jump here, we get another yarn on the right. And then the difficult part starts here, because this is essentially the last checkpoint you would normally take. So we jump on the electricity cabinet. We do a little double jump here, dive jump, another jump, and then we get on here. But what I discovered is that essentially, if you go to the left of the UFO, you actually trigger an invisible checkpoint. So as you can see here, I will fall. And normally that would cost me like a solid 30 seconds. But because I took that checkpoint, I'm now safe. And I only lose like 6 or 7. Of course, taking the checkpoint costs you like 3 or 4 seconds anyway. So is it worth it? Yes or no? When you're starting out, I would say it is. So now we get to the picture part. Honestly, there's not much to say. It's just the end. It's the end of the act. So we safely got through Deadbird Studios. There's just not much to say really. We take the timepiece and then we'll just go to the next part, which is called Picture Perfect. We pretty much do a really optimized route there to get to the max diva ranking incredibly fast. I honestly think we do it in like under a minute. But yeah, we're stuck on loading screen. One of the things that I would honestly rather there not be in the game, but it's understandable. At least the timer stops during the loading screen, so it's not like your computer affects your final time. Alright, Alright, so we're entering Act 3, picture perfect. And we're going to steer off in the right. Make sure that we get the guys at the start, get the picture, get this guy, and we should go on this trampoline with 36. So we have 36, we double jump here, get the yarn. Just convenience, take the extra picture and we try to land on the icon. Sadly, I miss it. You just spam A for this endorsement. So to the right there's another trampoline, we get it, there's a photographer here, take the picture, jump down, do a double jump, get the yarn. It's honestly, yeah, it's just a very optimized route. So I don't think you actually need to go up there, but I do it anyway for the simple reason that otherwise the jump becomes a bit difficult. You can also, you can hit the wooden board with the puppy on it from mid-air, with the brewer head. I tend not to go for it, because otherwise if you miss it, it's just another time loss. So we get Max Diva, we line ourselves up so that we only need to jump straight up. I even think it just directly spawns on us, so we don't even need to jump. So 1 minute 11, honestly, not the worst. I don't know if you can quit out of the last parts. I honestly don't know. I should actually check in the Discord server. But it's like 3 or 4 seconds in the end, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, so we're done with chapter 2. And now we're going into this rift, and honestly, you know how I said that Deadbird Studios is where runs come to die? No, this rift, this single rift is where my runs die. There's no other way. Like, there's this crazy skip that you can do immediately at the start to essentially trigger checkpoint and then die. Usually I go for it, but I had failed like 3 times in a row, so I just jump around. It doesn't waste that much time to just do it the normal way, and then I just miss the balloon like an idiot, because yeah, I honestly can't do balloons to save my life. Like, if this wasn't YouTube, I would be swearing at those balloons, but you know, it is what it is. We get another checkpoint, thank the lords, we jump under the crates, and I honestly don't know how to do this part efficiently. I'm just not fast at it for some reason. This is also, I also like to call this part camera angles the horror movie, because my god, camera angles just don't work in this level. Half the time I'm literally just doing blind jumps and hoping I'm aligned perfectly. I'm already making a mistake here. You don't have to get the head flares, the remixes, etc. You can actually just completely skip out of that, and every single time you do that you save like 2 or 3 seconds. And you get like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 of them in a run. So I lose like 10 seconds simply for not quitting out. Alright, so Deadbird Studios, Chapter 2, Act 1 is where runs come to die, and this is where we really see whether or not we can bury them. Subcon Forest. So we're going into Chapter 3, Act 1, Contractual Obligations. And this is where honestly a part of the rerouting starts. So we're first going for Boop Skip. The last shadow that you see on the ground, if you press Boop while you're getting maximum height, you will essentially just leave the bag, and for some reason you can just jump invisible around. Now sprint jumping is a bit faster than normal jumping, and this is where one of the bugs that I had found occurs. I cannot throw the cherry bomb. I don't know why, it's not the first time it has happened either. So usually Boop Skip would skip this cutscene, but yeah, sadly we now have to actually take the contract, which will give us Act 2, Subcon Well, and obviously it will count towards Act 1. So usually what you would do is you would hug this wall, and this cutscene would play, and it would overwrite the first cutscene. Obviously, this is a mistake. What I should have done is just gone back, get the painting, and then trigger the second cutscene. Because now I have to go all the way back. I'm essentially I think I wasted like 5 seconds or something just by not doing it. Alright, so we throw the portrait into the fire. I honestly hate that part for the simple reason that you always miss it by like 2 inches or something, and then you have to pick it up again, back up, go for it again. 2 pictures out of 4, we grab the one up here, but before we throw it in the fire, we're actually going to grab this extra yarn. There are faster ways to do this, but if I don't do it this way, I can guarantee you that I will just completely forget about the yarn, and then the run is just over. Then we end up with the mafia that's getting sucked into the portrait.
You need to break this wall.
Alright, so the cutscene plays. As you can see, the fire disappears, meaning that from now on we can actually go through those areas. Now usually you need the contract for Subcon well, but because you do boob skip, what you do is you just enter from contractual obligations again. And what that would do is essentially just it would make it so that you can do Subcon well even though you're not in the Subcon well chapter. But obviously we took the Subcon well chapter, so we can enter from there. I decided not to do it. Maybe a mistake on my part. Honestly, when you're starting to learn how to play the game, you should always just familiarize yourself with the correct route. Even if it's silly, like I can save 1 or 2 seconds just by going into Subcon well. But I'd rather enter from contractual obligations so that in future runs I won't make the mistake of looking for Subcon well. So instead of going straight, we turn to the right, and now we're going to get 2 portraits, throw them on the blue fire. It will open up a portion of the game that we will later need.
You'll come with me.
And pretty much if you touch this purple stuff, you will slow down immensely and you'll slowly get dragged into the mud. So you always want to avoid that, but you just can't avoid it all. So while we do our jump, oh yeah, one thing that I need to mention, if you're in your jump animation while one of those cutscenes play and you land on the purple mud, it will still drag you down while in the animation. Alright, so we double jump on the bell, do 1 jump, sprint jump, and then we get all the way up here. Now we're not supposed to be here. I nearly missed the yarn like a complete idiot. It is what it is. And from this part, this is the part where I usually miss the yarn and then the run is just over. You double jump, wait a bit, sprint jump. Now there's a skip you can do here by dive jumping into the branch and it will just shoot you up. However, I'm only about 10% consistent on the strategy, and obviously right now this is still a really good run. Like this is still an insanely good run, so I'm not going to potentially throw it to save 10 seconds when I don't even have a final time yet. Like this is the one and only run I actually ever finished of this game. Oh well, no, I do have one other run that I did near the end because we're about 22 hours in it of the challenge. Anyway, so we nearly fall there. I'm already feeling the jitters. But you can essentially just double jump on the chest and then use that height to get to the lamp with your hook shot. And from this part is actually practicable in a Death Wish. So I'll be going for my usual Death Wish strategies, which are honestly not as fast. But this is honestly why I start hating the run, because I mean, I don't even need to explain. Look what I do here. So pretty much we get to this point, and what you usually do here is jump on the wall. And instead of double jump on the wall, and what that does is that you can just barely reach another lamp that's way up there. But what I usually do is essentially just jump to the pipe across, because that just gives you just the right height. Because you need to remember, we actually missed a few triggers, so because we missed those triggers, the pipe that usually gives us wind to actually get there doesn't spawn. So yeah, it's a bit sloppy, but it's a really easy way to almost always do this part of Subcon well in like 1 minute 20, 1 minute 25. So we craft the ice head mid animation. That's something you will always do. It's just something you will always do because the cutscene in the back is always playing anyway. So you might as well use it to craft the head. To get on land, we just sprint jump into the timepiece. We're nearly 40% of the way done. And right now we have a 21-21. Honestly, not that bad, honestly. Well, at least not for me, but the run is just going to go downhill for me. You already know it. You can see it in the title. 1 hour 9 minutes, I think that my run is. A low 109. Oh boy, mail delivery service. So pretty much there are some angles where no matter how you throw the package, it will just not reach the guy. I don't know why it does that, because I'm just clearly throwing the package on them, but it's just how a collision works. So usually you don't use a controller for this, you actually do this with mouse and keyboard. I opt not to do that because I don't have the time to learn an entire control scheme. So this is also why this is so incredibly slow. Because you just see me slowly aiming. If I were to do this with my mouse, this would actually be quite promising. Here, that's what I mean. If you don't hit that, if you hit that guy from the side for some reason, he will just not take your package. So right now we have 6 out of 10 packages delivered. We go into here, get our next contract for Vanessa's Manor. Which is always the left contract, so you know. We will be going to Vanessa's Manor like 2 times in the run. Which is also why we just, you know, even if there wasn't an OP shortcut near the start of the level, then even if that wasn't there, we probably would still be going to Vanessa's Major. So actually one hidden up all the way up there. Honestly, for doing this with the control, I actually think I'm not that slow. All things considered. The only bad thing is because you do this with the controller, you're never sure whether the packages arrive or not. So we finished the level just shy of 2 minutes. Honestly, if you do every single level in 2 minutes, you have sub 50. Well, obviously not counting the finale at the end. But if you were to do every single level in 2 minutes, you would get a sub 50. I actually lost track of how many yarns we have at the moment. But we crafted the ice head. So you need 2 for the sprint head, you need 4 for the brewer head. You need 8 for the ice head, so at the very least we already have 14 yarns. I do believe we need 26 in total. Now you honestly, if you only play this casually, you will become really angry with what we're about to do. But first, for some reason the hookshot badge that we got earlier always unequips. I don't know why that is. So I have to equip it again, and I go into here on purpose. You can actually skip this circle, but this is where part of the rerouting comes in. Normally you would do cheating the race when you go back to Act 1. I decide not to do that, so instead I'd go for Toilet of Doom. Which is that's also the main reason why we get the extra yarn in the second level that we did. Because usually in cheating the race there's a really quick yarn that we just, you know, it's literally 3 seconds to grab it. This is where the run starts to get ugly. So normally you just do a late double jump so you get the maximum height out of it, and then you just sprint jump into it like this and you jump up. But for some reason I needed 4 tries for that. So yeah, that's obviously not faster than the regular routes. So we jump on this guy, or at least we attempt to. And then you do that. Now if you do it like what I just did, you can actually jump back on the original platform. I actually don't know why I missed it that convincingly. So yeah, you just aim for that little crack. You can make it all the way up there, but you need like a triple jump, as they say, or something along those lines for it. Alright, so I nearly take the cherry. Obviously we don't need the cherry because we're already on top there. You can just double jump over it. So this is, honestly, this is why I say that this run is bad, because we're 1 minute 50 going into this act. You can honestly get here in like a minute or something. But obviously if you fail your jumps, you have to climb back up. It's just a spiral. But now it's time for the casual players to get incredibly angry. So pretty much what you do is you jump on the barrels, it just smash through the cutscene, you get this obvious yarn here, and then you just double jump to the next barrels, you crouch, and there you go, you're at the end of the level. Now you can skip this cutscene by jumping on the door frame. I decide not to do this for the simple reason that it's really finicky. I've never even gotten it. You can skip that little tiny cutscene if you're fast enough, but I don't think it's worth going for if you're not familiar with it. So we end the level in 2 minutes 39. It's not a good time. You can probably get here in under 2 minutes, but it is what it is. I'm actually trying to remember what we do. I believe we go back to Queen Vanessa's manor, and instead of entering the manor, we're going for a rift, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously at this point you can pretty much do whatever timepiece you want. The order doesn't matter that much, but I tried to do it in chronological order. So we just went to Queen Vanessa's manor, so now I go back. That way I know that I can cross off Queen Vanessa's manor off my list. There's actually, the reason we do this is because there's actually the rift just up here. We also have 187 bonds. If you do cheating the race, I believe it's an additional 100 or 200, so yeah, you should honestly never worry about bonds if you're doing the normal route, because you'll just get so many of them. If you're really fast, you can make this cycle, but otherwise you're just stuck here, so it doesn't matter that it just bumped my head against the wall, because you just, once you fail, you just can't make that cycle again. You can probably make that cycle as well, if you just double jump and then grab the ring in the air, but I wasn't sure that I would actually get it, so I opted not to do it. You don't have to jump on that platform. For safety reasons I do. And this is the fun part of the level. You literally just mash the X button at that point. And then you have these red platforms, they will disappear, but with some good jumps you can just get through them. And nicely timed, so we don't even have to move. 12 timepieces out of 25, we're slowly getting there. 28 minutes into the run. Honestly, if I were to not make a mistake, then I reckon I could honestly get sub 50. Maybe sub 55. At the very least, I know that if I were to not fail so miserably at the end and have a better finale act, that I can get under an hour, which is why I might just try again. So we enter contractual obligations, we're going for another rift, but this one is just a little bit further. So instead of going straight or going to the right, we're actually going to curve left. And pretty much we also do this because we need an extra yarn, so you can just hookshot that, get on the roof, get the yarn, and then you just run in a straight line to the next time rift. Oh well, to the tree stump, and then we do some jumps. So what you want to do here is essentially when you double jump and then dash into the wall, you don't want to hold any button on your controller, because otherwise you will jump over the fence. You don't need to hit these spiders to actually get up there, But last time I got stuck here for over 2 minutes, just because I was too stubborn to do the spiders. So I've learned my lesson. We were on a pretty decent pace, so I figured I'd take the safe route. So it takes us 50 seconds to get here, but this rift is, or well, should be, pretty fast. You'll see it won't be pretty fast, but it should be. You know, that honestly, are you even a speedrunner if you don't hate your run by the end of it? I don't know a single speedrunner who's actually happy about their runs. Like, they're always like, oh, I can improve on this, I can improve on that. Also, fun side note, you can skip the first 2 cookies there, as you can see. With a nice dash, you can actually get there without having to touch the ground. I just failed it miserably, and this is the part where essentially, yeah, I don't even need to commentate this really. You'll see what I do. So we want to hit this straight on. So we hit this, we double jump for maximum height, and then you try to get on here, but I sadly miss it. Now the checkpoint isn't that far away. It takes like, I think 10 seconds to get back. But if you fail this like twice, I think the normal route is actually faster. I'm not too sure about it, I never timed it. But it's just how I imagine it. So this time I tried to get it a little bit further. I tried to space out my jumps. Sadly I missed it again. So we've been here for like half a minute. Longer than we should have. Normally this rift is like 40 seconds or something. So yeah, now we get it from there. It's still a really nice jump to watch once you actually get it. But I don't know why I had such difficulty with it. So we get the green die, we decide not to take it because honestly the blue with yellow one is my favorite, and it's, I mean, let's be honest, we don't want to be fucking broccoli or something. So we've done all of that, so now we're going into Toilet of Doom. This fight honestly is a bit on the sloppy side. Thank God we don't die, but like I could have done way better in this fight. That being said, like I had not practiced this fight before this run. Like this run came after I rerouted. Like this was the first run I did after rerouting it, and we had about 3 hours left on the clock, so we had two runs left that we could actually do. So yeah, the Toilet of Doom, honestly not that difficult. He will either jump on the ground or send cars at you and then you can hit him when he's blue, or he will just give you cherry bombs to throw at him. Or well, give you cherry bombs. They are on the stage, you still have to grab them yourself. I think this is a 3-minute fight or 2.5 maybe? So yeah, normally if you wait there, cars spawn, but we just hit him so fast that the cars don't even spawn. You can hear the siren, but that's about it. So I decided to take the long route just so I don't miss the cherry. Because if you do, you're honestly just going to get stuck there. Yeah, this fight is actually pretty hard to die because as you've seen, they've already given us 4 hearts just to regen. I nearly fall off, honestly my bad. Yeah, it's just a really straightforward fight. You essentially just jump whenever he jumps. Or when he comes down rather. It's not that difficult of a fight. So we should be coming up on the final kill. Or at least I believe so. I believe you have to hit him like 10 times? Oh yeah, there we go, there we go. So we kill him 2 minutes 20 in. Time to grab the timepiece in, and you know, we're already halfway on timepieces, so Pretty nice. We're also on schedule for the yarns. So we end the level just shy of 34 minutes. And so far, honestly, the run is not that bad. Obviously, we had a few fails in chapter 3. But I think that at the very least, there's not that much we can improve here. Or well, not quickly at least. Obviously, chapter 3 needs to be way better. We hit Roomby, by the way, there for the simple reason that he gives us a yarn after the Bird Studios. But he wasn't on our path when we originally came there, so we had to go around and get it now. So welcome to the Golden Vault, or as I like to call it, and I would honestly name my split this way, please don't miss a ticket. Because if you miss a ticket, you can go all the way back and just search for it. And I'm not joking, I did this in practice. I actually managed on the first ticket to just completely miss it. I don't know how. Like, you just literally just run in a straight line, but if you forget that ticket, you're essentially boned. So we do some sprint dives. I missed that one, not that important. We get the second one up here. You want to do 3 bounces just to be sure. And some of the people from Death Wishes might remember that pool. Like I've hidden in there so many times. I nearly missed the balloon. It's my bad. We get an extra yarn. And for some reason I just can't get this ticket. So if you can't get this ticket, just go on the fence and just jump into it. Again, it's better than just completely failing it for like 30 seconds. Here's the last ticket. We also grab this yarn on the way. So now all we have to really do is get back. And if you've done this level, or at the very least speedrun this level once, you will know that this ice block, if you just use your ice hat on it, it will catapult you all the way up, back to the vault. I don't know how much that saves, but I reckon it's at the very least half a minute. So I jump off, I realize like, oh wait, this is a cutscene, so I get our the last hats that we actually need. I actually completely missed the timepiece when jumping down. A 138, it's not the best performance I ever did in that stage, but you know, we take those. We honestly take those, considering how much difficulty I have with actually some of the other things. So it's 36 minutes in. And I believe we now, I was thinking about going for cheating the race, which costs 100 bonds, but we don't do cheating the race. As I said, we've already done Toilet of Doom because we want to avoid cheating the race. So we go back into the Golden Vault and we go into Sewer Rift. So all you need to really know is that you need to actually jump on that roof. I obviously forget because I'm not good at the game. And you just yeet your way all the way into the sewer. There we go. Honestly, probably my favorite. It's probably my favorite level in the run. I mean, it's very punishing, and you will see that I lose a lot of time here. But it doesn't mean that it's not a cool level. So pretty much you do this here. You can actually belly slide on there. I just completely missed the timing here. So yeah, the thing is already up. Sadly, I missed it. And then if you do that, you have to respawn all the way at the beginning. So we've already lost half a minute. Just from falling there. And just me, it has happened a lot to me. So thankfully we finally get up. And now these cogs actually still need to cooperate. They usually don't do. And I'm an idiot, I fall off again and we get sent all the way back to the start. Honestly, I don't know why I have so much difficulties with Sewer Rift. It's probably something I really need to practice on. So now we're going to be patient, we're going to act like smart people and actually wait for the rotation. Costs a little bit of time to do that, but at the very least we might not fail it. So we're just going to slowly climb. We're just going to slowly climb this. So yeah, this level ends 1 minute 42 in. I reckon that you can do this level in about 35. So we just lost over a minute. We get the minty fresh color scheme. We decide not to equip it. And then we're stuck on the loading screen again. Huzzah. So considering we don't actually do cheating the race, that means that all we... Oh wait, yeah, that's heating up the Mafia Town. That's not even cheating the race. Cheating the race is the final thing you unlock. I forgot about that. It's my bad. I honestly don't really know what to say here. All you need to know is that you have these... I don't even know what they're called in English. You have these lava taps. Let's call them lava taps because realistically that's what they are. And all you need to know is that essentially you need to hit them twice. But you can't just spam your attack button because that won't work. There needs to be a small interval here. So we take 1 damage here on purpose. Seems weird. It's not me being an idiot. We actually do take this on purpose. So we jump on this tent. We don't grab the hard pon. And now we lava boost twice here. Take 2 damage and make sure that we actually land on the lava tap. So now we can jump down, and as you can see, checkpoints. Those 2 lava taps are saved, and because we died there, we will be sent back up. So usually what you would do here is avoid touching the ground, but sadly I'm not that great at this game, so yeah, honestly I don't really need to explain it. Like you'll see what I mean by that. By the way, the trees are safe areas as well, so far we're actually still doing pretty decent. We take another lava, take another damage from lava, doesn't matter too much. That's a rift token, not a yarn, so I could not reroute to take that one. So if you don't move while taking damage and being under the lava tap, you will be sent back up. I actually forgot where it is. I tried to line it up. Yeah, I tried to line it up, but as you can see, I only have 1 health. And I don't think I actually hit it twice. Yeah, I didn't. I only hit it once. So I have to go all the way back down here. I have to touch land because otherwise I won't make it. So this means already that I can't do the skip up there. So this means that we'll have to take an intentional death. I actually think that I tried to go for it. Yeah, and I fail miserably. I fail miserably for the simple reason that I realized that it just wasn't going to work. So the animation happens. I'm already jumping into it. Honestly, level complete, but this level honestly shouldn't take 3 minutes. This level really shouldn't take 3 minutes. But yeah, we're slowly but surely getting there. We'll finish in about 38 minutes, which, as you can imagine, when you already have 17 timepieces out of 25 that are needed for the final level, then pretty much doubling your time is really bad. This is also why I said that I'm pretty sure I can get sub. What am I doing here? Wait. Alright, I make sure that I don't get the skippable cutscenes here. Because if you do, you will soft lock and your run will be over. So we make this relic, and this will unlock the final thing here. So now we have to go all the way back up. And we are going for... is this yeet jump as I call it? I do believe it is. Oh, there's another time rift as well. So yeah, I entered down with the Mafia. I actually had one of the runs die because I soft locked, because I didn't know that you had to disable your skippable cutscenes. I actually had, like, I was about 39 minutes, 39 to 40 minutes here, so I was 2 minutes ahead and I just completely lost the run. But you know, it is what it is. We try to at the very least get one run in. We jump all the way to the beach, and with one swift jump we just get in there. I actually really like Mafia of Cooks. Like I said, oh, this is my favorite rift. No, this is my favorite rift by far, I think. I just really like the team. So essentially all we need to do here is collect the number of bombs that is above that capsule. As long as you do that, the capsule will open and you can go to the next level. So we jump up here and you have two options once you get up there. You can either jump to the... You can either jump across and get that one, or you can fight to Mafia here. I decided to go for two Mafias. I don't know why. I think it's just because it lines up really nicely. This one is free. There's nothing to find here. Try to find my sprint head again. And this is on a cycle. So if you're even like 5 seconds slow here, you will essentially just have to improvise. Thankfully I get it, we only need 5, which is signified by that sound. And we skip this entire part simply by double jumping, sprint, dashing, and then just climbing up the wall. So these spawns are absolutely free. All you need to do is really get them, jump into them. You can grab this one with your umbrella. I just jump into it so I don't miss it. And I do believe we only need 5, yes. So now the capsule opens and we're nearly done with Mafia Cooks. I don't collect the pawns here because they don't really matter anymore. Like, we've unlocked everything that we needed to do with pawns. Like, we've unlocked everything we need. So this gives us another roll at cosmetics and stuff. So as you can see, we've already hit like 5 or 6 of them. If I had simply just tapped out or quit out every single one of them, I would have saved like 12 minutes already. So the intruder alert, you can simply ignore that. That's actually the gets that we just did. Usually you get an alert for that way earlier. And this is the single reason why we need the Dweller mask. So what we do is we go into this rift, which is right by Nyakuza Metro, I believe it's called. Well, it's right next to the DLC. And there's some fast things here. Now, one of the things that I realized here is, first of all, I still need to enable my auto skippable cutscenes. Second of all, I realized I have not practiced this level. I've actually never been here before. I don't know how to do this. It was one of those levels that I saw and I was like, oh, surely this can't be that hard. And then, you know, those things happen that you just saw on the screen. Which is, it's a bit of a yikes, as we would say here. So yeah, this piece of shit throws us off not once but twice. I'm nearly dying here. I have 1 HP, so I need to start playing it safe. So I missed that jump, but we get essentially a redo. And we die. I had absolutely forgotten that at the top of that entire spiral thing there was another one waiting for me. It's actually really weird that I died there, because even on my casual playthrough I did not die here. So I know you can actually grab some of them by just jumping into them, but I forgot which ones it was. But I luckily found that one, so I can avoid the last one. So these little guys are honestly the most annoying parts about pretty much nearly any level. Because they can hit you and while they're not even on the screen. Like if they're around the corner, they will just focus you anyway. The moment you get into their line of sight, and they will just eat you off the stage. So we get another roll, sadly. Honestly, seeing these rolls makes me quite sad. Because I am just thinking like I could have saved like 20 seconds simply by skipping out of them. But at the very least we got a good color scheme going on, so you know, not too sad about it. Plus, let's be honest, when you're starting out, it's again not going to really matter whether you do something 1 or 2 seconds slower. So we act barrel battle and we go for yeet jump number 3, as I like to call it. Essentially, I fail a bit here, because you can normally jump over it, but instead I go for this ice platform and just, yeah, I do that. And now we have another rift, which sadly means we'll probably have another cosmetic roll at the end of this. But we're going into Bazaar. There's honestly not that much speed stack going into this level. I mean, you can slide jump off this and then just completely skip 1 or 2 platforms, but what you would do casually is actually also what you do normally for a big part of this. Well, except that we got a few corners here and there, obviously. The really rough thing about this level is that the timepiece essentially moves along with this platform. So it's entirely possible to just completely jump for the timepiece and miss it. But we did this in 56 seconds. I'm happy with that. It's not the cleanest that we could have done, but we get rewarded with it by the with the Christmas set, which again is my favorite ice hat. So we've got our favorite color scheme and we got our favorite ice hats. At the very least, the gods are blessing us with decent things. But yeah, I actually made a mistake here. I should have done that before going to the rift here, because now we have to walk all the way back. And now it's time for Metro, which is a bit rough to learn, but we're going to do a few baby strats, as I like to call it, a few simpler strats than normal. Honestly, you'll immediately see what I mean once we get the first timepiece here. Like, there are a few things that you can do to make stuff more consistent. And most of the timepieces here are like 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, if you're really efficient at them. So that's the reason this category is so much faster than, for example, 1.0 or I don't know what 1.6 is that the one? The patch after 1.0. Let's just assume that one. So yeah, I'm waiting for a new train here, so I can jump on it. But I didn't realize that if you jump on there, a small little cutscene triggers. I'm actually not too familiar with the start of this, because I had practiced the full run on my 100% file, so you can't actually access this part. So yeah, we jump over the wall. Honestly, this part is pretty straightforward, but I still had to remember where to actually go. So for some reason I think I'm like, oh yeah, you can wall jump this. No, you can't. You have to actually hit. You actually have to hit the mud and then guide that guy all the way to here. Now all we need to do to get the timepiece here is to follow this train, kill a guy, grab the timepiece, and then there's usually like a cutscene or two that you would, you know, need to see, but we obviously skip them because it's slow. So the timepiece is here, and here we get the cutscene where she's all like, oh yeah, you work for me now, those are mine. Obviously, they're not hers. We're taking them. We don't give shit.
No.
Yeah, so just skip through the text, and here's where the first baby strat comes in. So we jump all the way up here, and if you go from the sides, you can climb up here. Normally, what you would do is what we call noodle jump. You aim for the noodle next to the white and pink thing, but you can actually stand on the ears to give yourself a bit more height. I'm really struggling with it though. So yeah, normally you would not do this, but at this point we actually have a run going on, so yeah, why not? So yeah, you can see you just aim for the noodle, it'll automatically get you up there. It's a little small optimization that I actually found. Like, nobody told me about that. I actually found it myself. I was hella proud until I realized people were actually doing it. So you climb up the tree, you hope you don't get hit by it. You pretty much hope that doesn't happen, because that's a solid 15 seconds lost. And we're going to wait for a new train. It's not worth it to climb up it and then realize how much we're failing. I get hit by it again, which sadly means that we get spawned here. Now, we were aiming for this manhole here, so it's not too bad. It means that we actually did hit the trigger to respawn on the other side. So yeah, we go on the sign, we skip the entire part there. Now we wall jump up, and you can do a very precise jump up here. I decided not to do that because it's very precise and I have not actually managed to do it. I think I practiced for like a solid 25 minutes trying to get it. I just can't, so I just take the time loss and I take the bad route. So yeah, that jump would essentially get you here. So yeah, as you can see, just doing that jump saves you like 15 seconds or something. So we wall jump again, we take the timepiece onto the next chapter. Well, act. So we just mash the A button again, we don't really care what she's saying. And the nice thing about Metro is that essentially every time you finish a timepiece, they will not quit you out, first of all. And second of all, they will respawn you near the same location, namely the jewelry shop. So we try to get on the ear again to make this jump a bit easier. We're not going to actually go back to the manhole. Instead, we'll go in here. We ignore the sticker, by the way. We don't care about stickers in this run. We essentially wall jump here. We do another wall jump right on the train, and now we need to make sure that when we double jump here, we don't touch anything on the controller, because otherwise we will just climb and jump over. So now we align ourselves. We do one jump here, double jump, dash, and there we go. Honestly, seems a bit difficult and a bit technical, but it's free. It's absolutely free. As long as you somewhat know when you will, as long as you know when to jump and when to double jump and when to single jump, like, it will be okay. So now we get up here for the third part. No, we don't. I had completely forgotten that we actually need to go to the green side. So we fall into the mud. The catbot boops us up, and now it's time for the first green timepiece. So if you timed it right, you can get up there, but obviously I didn't time it right, so that happens. So you can do a very difficult skip there. Oh well, difficult. You can do a skip there. I opt not to go for it, and I go for a slower route, which also means I need to wait for the next train. You can see the timepiece that we're going for there in the bar. So 24 timepieces. We only need one more, and then it's time for the finale. Honestly, watching this run back, it's actually not as bad as I thought. It's really not that bad. I mean, we obviously it's very unoptimized and it's very unpracticed near the end. And you'll definitely see that in the finale that I'm unpracticed. But apart from like 1 or 2 deaths that could have easily been avoided, I think we're pretty much in the fine. We're still in the clear. So now we have to wait for that guy to come back up. That's one of the main reasons why people don't like actually going for the slower route. So here's a little Easter egg for you that I didn't even find in my normal playthrough. If you go back on these trains, you can go up the green signs there. Because those are actually solid, you can stand on it. And you can use this little portion of the wall to jump up. You do this twice. And what it will do is it will, if you now take the spring up here, it will spawn you in the pink area, all the way up here. So we turn around. We jump all the way up here, and now we're pretty close. And I really dread this part. Like, we're 25 timepieces in. Normally seen, we should be able to finish with a low hour. With low hour, I mean pretty much 1 hour 3 minutes, 1 hour 4 minutes. But one thing that I didn't realize when I was actually doing this run is that I needed to practice the final level and the last boss. I mean, I also just didn't have time anymore to practice, so we quit out because we got all the time pieces we need.
Here we go!
Yeah, and when you see her appear on the screen, you can essentially know that you can go do the final part of the run. Also, it replaces the loading screen. So yeah, now we get this cutscene where we play as Mustache Girl, and we have to go up there. For some reason, I didn't know that you couldn't climb ladders as Mustache Girl. I don't know why it is like that, but apparently we weren't able to. Or maybe I'm an idiot, who knows. So you just go to the vault. She opens it, destroys the world or something, I don't know, reforms it. And it's time for the final level. So we jump up here and we go all the way back. And we go all the way back to the main part of the ship. So as you can see, the scenery outside is now red and everything burns, etc. So I actually tried something cheeky. I tried to open it while being on there, so that I could jump. I didn't have to wait for the elevator. Obviously, as you can see, it didn't work. There's 3 buttons here that we really need to press. So we press the first one, we dive into the second one, since we're already there. And now we take our brewer hat and we destroy this. You can actually skip this entire part by jumping on the clock on the left. But I'm not practiced in that skip, and if I miss it, I'm just going to lose more time than I can actually afford to. So I actually wanted to test whether or not you can dive boost there. It's not going to be faster to actually get up there, so we don't do it. I actually get stuck on those mafia. Alright, so it's time for the final level. We go up the stairs, enter the level, and honestly, there's a lot of skips here that I just don't know how to do. I'm pretty sure if I practiced it for a couple of hours that I'd actually be decent at the final part of the game, which is also the longest part of the game and the most RNG part of the game. But there's several things that you can just skip, including this part. Like, you don't need that ice platform to actually get up there. So there's another yarn there. We already have all our heads, and it's the final level, so we're not going to need it. So obviously we don't go for that. I nearly jump off and miss the entire checkpoints that we'll get soon. Or at least I think there's a checkpoint near here. Not too sure, so I go for the right route, and I soon realized that I made a mistake. So yeah, I take the death here. I try to save it by going up here, and actually do get up here, but we only have 1 life left. Meaning we literally have nothing to actually spare. If I was smart, I would actually get those heart pieces, but as you can see, I'm not a smart guy. So we lose pretty much like 1.5 minutes or something, just because I'm too stubborn to actually heal. We repeat this part. Now we're full health when we arrive here, on like having only 1 health. One thing that I also noticed is that in here there's for some reason no sound. Like no sound is playing. I don't know if that's actually normal. Oh well, it is playing, but it's really soft for some reason. So I actually forgot that I needed the Dweller Mask here. Thankfully I managed to salvage that jump. Otherwise we were sent back. We're going to be sent back all the way. So to open this, you need to kill these guys. You can also jump on the fence and then jump somewhere over it. I have no idea how to actually do it, so I didn't bother trying to. You kill these 3 guys, and then the gate will open. Obviously I can't hit them for check all. Like I'm just literally unable to hit them for some reason. So these hammers look scary. They're honestly really not. They're really easy to avoid. I would if he took my head, I might have considered actually killing that invisible cat. However, he only took a pawn, so I'm not too angry about it. I'm not too fussed about it. And I don't remember this final part, honestly. Like when I'm going through this, I do not know what is going on. I do not know what is going to be next. My time probably reflects that, because like you do not like we're not even at the end yet, and we're already 4 minutes and a half in. I'm just really unsatisfied with this finale, because I'm fairly sure you can do it in like 5 minutes or something, including the fight, obviously. Yeah, now we go all the way up the mountain, we hit her, or attempt to at least, and the final boss battle starts. So she just teleports around. I have no setup to actually make that work, so I just double jump and try to hit her with X. Which is pretty much how I'm always going to want to hit her. You can hit her while she does that, or you can double jump and press X again. And after hitting her 4 times, she will essentially go into her next phase. Oh no, it's 5 times actually. So yeah, as you can see, you can also do that, which is what I prefer to do. To just jump or double jump and then press X. So you just dodge the hourglasses, and then the real final battle starts. And as you can see from the time, we needed like 6 minutes just to kill her. Like, I really hope that the community finds a way to actually skip this entire final battle. I don't know how you would do that, because there's apparently no killing plane under the final battle itself. So I don't know how they would manage it. But surely there has to be a way to just kill her and get the final timepieces. But sadly, because there's no killing plane under it, it also means that not only does she get stuck there, Or maybe she just gets instantly killed. If you don't kill her manually, she will just not spawn the thing to actually get out of the level. Which obviously means, because we don't see the credits, the run becomes invalid. So yeah, I just spam A here. I don't know if you actually need to see those cutscenes. But like, after this horrible finale, I was just... I was a bit in shambles. I was just ready to not think too much about it and just finish the fights. I actually don't know what the decent time is for the finale boost fights. I should ask in Discord what the decent time for that is. So while she's in that bubble, we can't actually touch her. Obviously we try, we just think into it, and then because they form a contract, they will give us cherry bombs to actually use against her. So I drop the cherry bomb so I can run from her. Her bubble breaks. I probably should have double jumped and then pressed X so that I can actually follow her. I think this boss takes about, I don't know, it's somewhere in the 20 hits that it takes to actually finish this boss fight. So for some reason I always run there. I don't know why I actually did that, because once her bubble bursts, there's literally no way she's ever touching you. So I tried to throw the cherry bomb, sadly I missed, so now I have to wait for a new one to spawn. Thankfully, in that attack she actually stands still, so it's not that hard of a throw.
Red hooded girl, get lost!
Yeah, there's not much really to say anymore about this fight, because now we're just literally invincible. They can't touch her, so I guess I will be talking about what we'll be doing next. So I ran this game for about 24 hours, which I've done over the course of a week. So what I'm planning to do now is to just try and run a different game, and hopefully by doing that I will eventually become knowledgeable enough about speedruns in general that I can actually just like, you know, pretty much become a golfer. Nah, I'm kidding, but I do want to see what other games have to offer. I really do want to see, so the next game that we're going to try to speedrun is probably going to be Portal 2. I was looking at speedrunning Forger, but I'm not really sure whether or not the old strats work on the current patch of the game. And honestly, the speedrun of Forger doesn't look that interesting either, because you literally just duplicate items for half of it. So in this phase it's pretty much impossible to die, because, well, anytime you lose health you instantly replenish it. I honestly just want to let the fight speak for itself. Like, you can see how much damage I just take out of just being bad, really. I really want to make an excuse for it, but this is literally just me being bad at the game. So she dies in like, I think, 2 more hits? Yeah, so there's another hit, and we should be coming up on time. So we beat her here, and the timer stops the moment we hit the final thing. After which a little cutscene starts playing, and yeah, pretty much did it. So yeah, now we just have to touch that thing, and the time stops. 1:09:14. And obviously I had to take screenshots to show the Discord. So I'm not too happy about the run in general, because I think there's a lot that can be improved on. And the dog is playing with his ball in the background. Oscar, you're not supposed to have that. Yeah, there's a lot to be improved on, but I think, considering really only did 1 or 2 runs, or finished 1 or 2 runs, 1 hour, 9 minutes, 14 seconds is not too bad. Especially the start, I'm really happy about. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. This was it for me, and I hope this run gets accepted. Goodbye.